Dickens was known for actually travelling around the country and providing readings to his work. It's almost like he had a cinema in his mind's eye while he was writing. My name is Anastasia Kerameos. I work at the BFI Screen Library at the British Film Institute in London, and I have worked here as long as this collection of lantern readings has been here. Lantern readings are effectively a script that you use during the show of lantern slides.
Payne, Magic Lantern Show.
The Magic Lantern is effectively a projector. It is a box which contains an illuminant, so light, which passes through the lens and magnifies the image that it's projecting. You will have your lanternist who is working the slides, and then you will have your actor or performer who is actually either narrating from a script, like the readings, or ad-lib. Lantern shows can be very simple, or they can be extremely complicated.
Why, it's three little soldier boys standing in a row.
If you were using a child's lantern or a very small lantern, you could be projecting onto the wall.
Bang! Goes the cannon! And off comes the legs!
Each section is numbered. Occasionally you would have the letter B entered into the text so that you knew when to, ding, press the bell to let the lanternist know to move on to the next slide. So the Magic Lantern has been around since the 1600s. It was mentioned in Samuel Pepys' diary. It became the most popular in the 1800s. Lantern slides used to be hand-painted, so it was a very labour-intensive process. They were beautiful, but labour-intensive and expensive to produce. So once new technologies were developed and photography came along, slides were much cheaper to produce, and it was a faster process, easier to sell, and a great market opportunity. There were readings for many different lantern slides. They were educational, they were religious, there were a lot of temperance slide sets. The Victorians were very much about telling you what to do. But one of my favourites is a really, really tiny reading which is called Father Smokes, Why Can't I? There's a lot of morality in these lantern readings, and the language is just beautiful. It really transports you into the different world, into the Victorian world. The item that I have chosen for today is a lantern reading of Marley's Ghost, and this particular story is Dickens. Dickens was known for actually travelling around the country and providing readings to his work using lantern slides because he knew the power of the image. There are studies that talk about his writing and how his writing was actually influenced by the Magic Lantern and by projections. It's almost like he had a cinema in his mind's eye while he was writing. The fog had now grown denser than ever, so that Scrooge had to grope with his hands to find his way. But at last, he got to his destination and was about to put the key in the door. Now there was a knocker on this door. Scrooge had seen in night and morning for years and had never noticed anything particular about it. But as he put the key to the door and glanced upwards, he saw not a knocker, but a face. Marley's face. The face of his dead partner. Gives me the creeps. You can see the similarity between the lantern slides images which are on the Lucerna database and the 1901 film, when Scrooge goes up to his door and suddenly the door knocker changes into the face of the ghost. The same concept was carried through from the Magic Lantern straight through to the films. So yeah, they follow very closely on. Shortly after I first started at BFI in 1991, we acquired this incredible collection from a collector of Magic Lantern and optical media related material, which included these lantern readings, and there are around just over 1,000. But the collection also includes just under 1,000 books, catalogues, things like posters, flip books, even paints that were used to paint lantern slides. Our pre-cinema history collection is stored at our conservation centre outside of London, because that is where we have the most optimum conditions in terms of humidity and temperature and light. So I brought along a children's slipping slide just for a quick illustration. It's actually from my own collection. And you have a man happily galloping, and all of a sudden, with a very quick motion, oops, he's off. What I really love about these is that they are of their time. I love the feel of history in my hands. That's what drew me to these in the first place. What then held my attention was the language that's used, the use that they've had. They will say, do not mark them in any way, and you will then realize that for quite a few of them, they are marked. They have fabulous information on them, like reading not to be folded, which you then realize immediately with quite a few of them, they have been folded. And as a librarian, we like to describe things. So I love the intrigue of how on earth would you go about describing something like this, which is not run-of-the-mill, a published book. What information would you pick out? What would make it attractive to someone to want to come and research it?